Welcome to Transits Fridays and happy new moon. So today is the new moon in Cancer. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's where most of this video will be focused, including a quick astrological tarot about this new moon. So what sort of intentions can we set? What kind of new cycle are we headed towards from the astrological tarot perspective, as well as the astrological analysis as usual. So let me share my screen with you. And how are you all doing? I mean, what's going on for you? How was last week? And yeah, I'm still really, really busy working, but also with some family situations, that I'm also dealing with, which is classic of Cancer season and perhaps a really good omen with this Cancerian new moon. So today I decided to really take it easy and just practice self-care. I think this society that we live in tends to really glorify overworking, putting other people first, basically glorify not taking our own needs seriously enough. And I think a new moon in Cancer is a wonderful time for setting intentions for a cycle that's a little bit more balanced in that regard, that's got a little bit more um focus on self-care, emotional security, emotional well-being, the inner mother as well, and developing that relationship with ourselves, of yeah, this sort of positive mothering voice inside us, like taking our hands, helping us to get through the day, identifying our needs from moment to moment, because life happens from moment to moment. It's not really what we have in here and the ideas that we have about what we should do, where we should be, but it's what's actually happening to us, right? So for an hour, you might need to lay down and look after yourself and then go back to work and, go back to the activities that you were doing. So really, I think this cycle is a wonderful time to do that. And this obviously, in fact, is the chart for the new moon. So we have here a new moon happening at 14 degrees Cancer. Also really important for you to bring that to your natal chart. Where is 14 degrees Cancer in your chart? Have you got any personal planets at that exact degree, or an ascendant or midheaven? Because that new moon will be activating that part, that sort of side of your chart. So always, always, always bring it back to the natal chart, because the more you learn about that, the more you learn about the building blocks of astrology, the deeper your interpretations are going to be, the more insightful, the more imaginative as well. So just make sure you understand and you know your birth chart by heart, right? And all the degrees there in there as well. All right. So there are a couple of other aspects happening with this new moon, which I think will be reflective of what this new cycle is about, including a Mercury Pluto opposition, which has been going on this whole week. I think we talked about it last week as well in the previous video I did. Now, the Mercury Pluto opposition is separating, but it's still part of the cycle where what I'm saying might not be what you're hearing, what I'm thinking might not be what I'm saying. There might be more to the communication. There might be more to who I am individually versus what the society's groups or whatever his expectations are. So the Leo Aquarius axis always makes me think of Brené Brown's explanation of the difference between fitting in and belonging. And a sense of belonging is very, very different, if not completely opposite to fitting in. Fitting in is when we chop bits of ourselves so we can fit in and people accept us. Whereas a sense of belonging is when we're accepted by who we are. We can be ourselves, we can be our crazy self sometimes, we can have our wacky ideas or our, different ideas that people don't understand, and we're still welcome. So I think the Leo Aquarius can have a lot to say about that. I think the shadow of Aquarius can be fitting in and, saying things or partaking in certain ideas just because everybody else is kind of expecting that from you. And Leo is kind of the best of Leo there is being your authentic self, showing who you are, being a place of authenticity. Really, I think that's the best of Leo. When we think about that Mercury Pluto is secrets, right? There's a sense of secretive, finding hard to find the words. So I think that energy can be there still for the whole lunar cycle, because this is a seed moment. This is the beginning of the lunar cycle. Now, the Mercury Pluto there could also be us going deeper, digging deeper, understanding more about belonging. And I love the word belonging, not only from that point of view, which I just shared, but also with the new moon in Cancer as well. I think one of the key words for Cancer is belonging, is home, roots, family, familiar, belonging, emotional needs, emotional security, self-nurturing, self-nourishing, and the nurturing of others as well. But belonging is there. So, I keep thinking about this word with the Mercury, Pluto in Leo Aquarius, but also with the new moon itself. So perhaps some ideas that are connected to our sense of belonging, sharing our authenticity with the world. Again, we need to place that Mercury Pluto somewhere in our charts to know where that's activating, what's that talking about more specifically, right? Now, another thing that I really want to share about this new moon's chart is obviously Mars is not too far from Uranus. That would be talking about actions that are rebellious potentially and um, unpredictable as well. Coming from a Mars Uranus person, there's a sense of spontaneity that we have with Mars Uranus. Obviously, that's a very Sagittarian word, which is where my Mars Uranus are. But there is something outside the box that Mars Uranus is also reflective of. And I was talking to my partner today about this, or something else, but that really fits into that the feeling of a Mars Uranus, and having that in my chart as well. And the feeling that I'm a curveball, like I've always been a bit of a curveball in people's lives, and situations, like things that are supposedly the rule, that's how it always works, it just doesn't with me, or I just need to do things my own way. So that's kind of the signature here with that Mars Uranus, finding your own way of doing things, finding our own way of expressing our values, or creating and building something that's going to provide us a container for the sense of belonging, that's aligned with our values as well, that's aligned with our sense of emotional security. But I think that Mars Uranus can be reinforcing the feeling of authenticity. You don't need to do things by the book in the way that people expect you to, or that seems to work for everybody else. Like, we really need to find our own rhythm, dance to our own tunes, be a little bit of a curveball yourself as well. And I think that's a way to negotiate your destiny with these energies, rather than suffering from that. You kind of can play that energy yourself. You can embrace it, invite it into your life by channeling it, right? Because these energies are going to take place in your life somehow. But when we invite it, and we channel it, we do it more creatively, we do it more constructively, which is what this channel is about, right? Is using astrology in a constructive way, in a way that's gonna lift us up, that's gonna help us build the life that we want to live. All right. So I think that Mars Uranus is saying, be that sort of curveball as well yourself. Don't be scared to do things differently. To Yeah, to find your own rhythm, I think, find your own rhythm, based on your own values. Know your values. And that same Mars is also in sextile to Saturn at the moment of the new moon. Is a very, very tight aspect. They're both at 19 degrees. This is really pretty exact. And that sextile, I think, is saying, hey, it's not just about destroying. When we think about Mars Uranus, we're like, oh, very impulsive and potentially destructive and whatnot. But with the sextile to Saturn, we could actually build things more solidly with this new moon. So whatever it is that we set intentions for, we can slowly contribute and build it, a solid foundation for it as well. And I think, we're talking about Pisces and Taurus here with the new moon in Cancer. There is a lot of security driven energies with this new moon. It's a bit of a inward, introverted, personal life, private life kind of quality. So maybe those intentions should be about that as well. You know, a solid foundation within us, a solid foundation on how to nourish and care for ourselves, and something that we can sustain throughout the whole cycle, and maybe even take it for after the cycle, you know, for later as well in our lives. The new moon Sabin symbol. I mean, I always mention the Sabin symbols and the witches of Instagram. If you follow them and you see their work as well on YouTube with my voice notes about the new moons and the full moons, I always bring the Sabin symbol. And the Sabin symbol, or the imagery for the 14th degree of Cancer, is a group of people who have overeaten and enjoyed it. So again, for me, that gives a sense of family, of getting together, of indulging in the company of our loved ones, and really sharing it. There's another tarot reader I follow who was talking about that. The sense of, is a lot about cups today from the tarot, and cups of water, and it really matches very well the energy of this new moon in Cancer, and the sense of sharing with the loved ones and being seen by our loved ones as well. So I love that. I think this new moon energy could be very much about that too, and we could, really enjoy this moment with family members. So that's it for the new moon. I mean, I really want to pick some cards as well. So I'm going to do that now. I said I was going to do a quick astrological tarot reading for this new moon. So it's actually, rather than leaving for the end of the video, I'm going to do it now because I have the chart right in front of me. So it's even better to focus. What is this new cycle about? What can the cards tell about this new moon, about this chart, about these placements, and about the potentials, including something that we can let go of that might be blocking us. So we can, this is the cards that turned the Seven of Swords. That's a moon in Aquarius card. But let's do the reading to get more information. So what's the energy of this new moon telling us? What's the energy of this new moon in Cancer telling us? All right. So first card, we've got the Queen of Rods on this tarot deck, which is Queen of Wands, right? That's an Aries energy. The second card, Page of Swords. The element is air. So we got another person. And the third card, Seven of Pentacles, is actually the Eighth of Pentacles, sorry. Eighth of Pentacles, which is the Sun and Virgo card. So we've got air, we've got Aries, and we've got Virgo as well for this 3-card astrological tarot reading. And it seems like we're going to be busy for this new moon. There's still an energy of being busy. I think the Virgo energy here, I do pick up on that sort of Mars in Taurus, Saturn in Pisces in the precise exact sextile, and the sense of like slowly really building towards something. Obviously, I'm a Sun in Virgo. These cards could be coming up because I picked it and I was, focusing it myself as well. But it really gives me a sense of us perfecting something throughout this lunar cycle as well. The Queen of Wands and Aries would be communicating with the Aries placements here in the chart. So we'd have the North Node in Aries and Chiron as well. And the lessons that we're learning about making choices, the lessons that we're learning on being assertive as well. And not waiting for anyone else to tell us what to do, to give us an advice, or, and in fact, obviously, the Aries cards are ruled by that Mars. So we go back to that Mars in Taurus in sextile to Saturn. So that sense of slowly building our confidence, throughout this new moon as well. It's almost like, the cards that's connected to, here it is. It wasn't too far in the deck. So the card that's connected to Cancer is the Chariot. I was talking to my students yesterday about it, and how the connection between the chariot and the Cancer sign is connected to self mastery, mastering our own emotions, mastering our inner world. And that's the way that we can navigate the outer world with more precision. And so I think that this is kind of what the new moon can give us, that solid foundation to work and perfect something out there in the world, with the Virgo sort of apprentice working, creating more of the pentacles, more abundance in our life, more of the things that we're good at, the things that we're great, the gifts that we can bring into the world, the service that we can provide to other people as well. And that's all connected to the sense of confidence. And honestly, we don't feel confident with it when we haven't slept, when we haven't eaten properly, when we haven't exercised in ages, or when we haven't had enough time to rest, enough time to just chill, to just look after ourselves emotionally, physically, spiritually as well. And so I really think that's kind of connected here with the chart of the new moon, as well as what the cards are reflecting here as well. The Page of Swords, I do connect the page with, the sort of very pure, um, a very pure manifestation of the element. So it's a very pure manifestation, a very youthful manifestation of air with the swords. And I'd see that connected obviously to the air signs, to that Pluto and that Jupiter and Gemini. But a bit talking about communication as well. How can we communicate? How can we bring that sense of courage, assertiveness into words as well? How can we practice this throughout this lunar cycle? How can we be a little bit more vocal, a little bit more clear about what our needs are, what are we doing, who we are, the choices that we're making, etc. So I think that's what the tarot is telling us as well. Now I'm gonna go around a little bit the week and show you how the planets are going to be moving as well, and what is the best that we can do. So we've got that Mars Uranus conjunction that's not going to happen yet, but it will be getting closer and closer throughout this week. We also have a sextile between Mercury and Jupiter on Sunday, and the moon will be close there as well between Leo and Gemini. So I think that energy of the Page of Swords and experimenting with our communication, with new ideas, with self-expression in some way for this weekend, for the Sunday. And then Monday here, we'll still have that Venus in Cancer, and most planets that they're still in the same sign as they would, apart from obviously the moon that moves a little faster. So moon in Leo. Moon shifts to Virgo on Tuesday. But what I really want to share with you is here. So the 11th of July, that's next Thursday. And that's when Venus shifts to Leo. Now, Venus moving to Leo, we have a shift in our values, our sense of beauty, what we appreciate, how we appreciate, and the things, that brings us a sense of self-worth as well, of feeling valued, feeling appreciated. So there's a bit of a shift towards a little bit more fun, towards a little bit more risk taking. The fire signs takes more risk. But it's also the beginning of an opposition between Venus and Pluto. So things might become a bit more intense in the relationship arena as well, and more, triggering situations in relationships, in how we share ourselves. We might feel a bit jealous, or be the target of some jealousy from our partners as well. And how are we going to deal with that? How are we going to talk about it? How are we going to be honest about, right? If we're feeling neglected, that's going to be very powerfully felt as well this week, with that Venus in opposition in Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo, you can't deal with being ignored very well. So I think that could be something that could come up. But also, being intensely passionate about something this week, and just channeling and just being really creative with it, and just really embracing it. bringing more fun into your life in some way as well with that Venus in Leo, As you can see behind me, I've got these flowers, and I got him from my partner yesterday, and I'm a moon in Libra ruled by Venus, and it's amazing to have Venusian things around me. They feel so nourishing, so perfect for the new moon today at least, and obviously getting that um Leo, flavor into our life somehow as well. It's like channeling the energy, bringing to our lives, making it more real. Um, will be my advice. And Friday will be the exact opposition between Venus and Pluto there. And that Mars coming to conjoin Uranus, which will happen only on the next following week. Um, but that's it, really. This is what I had to share with you. So let me know in the comments how you're feeling, what's going on for you, where you're at. What are your plans for this new moon as well? I'm very curious. I definitely want to live more by the cycles, and I'm really planning to get more, um, to get more serious about taking some time off during new moons, during full moons, and really embrace a life that's more cyclic, and really go with the cycles and navigate life with the cycles more and more. I find it so reassuring and so much easier to accept, when we need to have quieter time, and refrain from being judgmental towards ourselves and etc. So how are you feeling about that? Let me know. I hope you're having a wonderful week and a wonderful day with the new moon as well. So I'm off to spend some time with my family that I really need right now, and have some lunch with my mom. So yeah, let me know what your plans are, and I'll be seeing you all next week. So take care. Bye bye now.